Hello everybody and welcome back to the Franknet Sewing Machines YouTube channel. We're back upstairs in the shop here with the lovely Luminaire. There's so much to this machine, so we're really breaking it down for you. We're going to have a look today at the actual scanning and using the kind of supersized camera, because we've got a much larger area now that it can scan with, better resolution, and also the projection and how that can help you with your embroidery placements as well, especially. Right, I'll get it started. As you can see, I've got this lovely floral kind of motif. I believe it's a Sanderson design. It's a very nice kind of contemporary, bit more interiors focused, this one, but this kind of what we're going to look at would work really well, I think, for interiors, fashion and quilting. It's certainly not specific to any one of those. It's really, really nice. Okay, so we're going to actually start off by going to the My Design Centre once we've woken up our screen, and so that can be accessed just down here, because this is where we're going to scan from. We're then going to go to the leaf up here. So this logo has changed from the icon that was on the XV, so it is now this kind of leaf shape. And so once we press that, we've got the options to scan an image, a line or an illustration. We're going to call this an image, and this is then going to say to use the scanning frame, but if we actually just press scan, it'll tell us, no, you're using fabric, you need to put a positioning sticker on so it can detect the thickness. And this is so it will obviously make sure that it's scanning the correct area. Just grab one of these. So one of our positioning stickers, aka snowmen, place that on the projected area on the fabric, as close as you can to where it is, and then just do OK. So this camera now is a lot more powerful and covers a much wider area all at one go as well. So we're going to get a really nice clear image on here. Okay, so we can then remove that. And it's going to scan the background. And these little snowmen are reusable, so you can place them back onto the sheet for another time. Lovely. So now we've got our flower that we've obviously got in our frame, so this is the area that has been scanned. We can bring this kind of image to the foreground or the background, so we can actually increase the density of the image, and so if we go all the way, we're getting the kind of full resolution. And if we zoom into that, you can see the level of detail that we're getting. If I use this hand bit here, that means I can pan around the image. So we're getting a really, really sharp version of this fabric, and that's all directly on our screen. So now we've got that there, we're going to, I was going to embellish kind of this central area, like with the centre of the flower, and kind of add some different bits on within the My Design Centre. I'm just going to fade it out a little bit, just so I can work, because I can see some of these outlines without having to having it being too dark. And so my tools here that I've got to, like my drawing tools, I've got the paint, the filling, and also the pencil and the dropper. I'm going to use the pencil tool first of all. I'm going to create a kind of, just follow some bits of this around. So let's just go into our pencil. I'm going to go to the properties of it. This particular stitch, stitch property, well, line property even, I can choose from all of these different options. This is very similar to the XV, obviously. You can also choose the colour. I'm going to go for a red so I can actually see it, because I can actually change that then when I'm back into my sewing side, into the embroidery section of the machine. But this means I can actually view it really easily on the screen. And yeah, I'm going to keep that as an actual satin stitch, if you like. And then I'm going to follow, actually, let me double check what I'd had that set on. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, check the width was right. So I'm going to follow the outline around here. This Sense pen's really quite responsive as well. Get nice curvy lines. And so when I've kind of come to that edge, I grab my hand again, pan over to another part of the image, and then select my line tool again. Check that's all joined up, lovely. I'm going to do some bits on the centre as well. I'm going to highlight a couple of these, the little stamens that are in the middle. Ooh, remember to touch your line tool. So highlight a couple of these, and by using the red it means that I can see where I've been, which does help. Lovely. And I think I'm going to highlight some of these seedy kind of the pollen heads in the centre here using the brush tool. Again, I'm going to keep that on the red. I'm just going to look at the properties of the tool at the moment. So that 20, how big's that? Let's have a look. Oh, that's quite large. That's a bit too big. If I can undo that, so you've got undo and redo, really easy to use there. You can just go back loads of different steps. I can't remember exactly how many it is, but there's plenty to keep going with. But let's change that down to about 10. And again, I can change what this kind of region would do, because what we're going to be doing with this paint tool is making regions, like sections and areas, and filling them in with whatever we want. I'm just going to go with a kind of standard fill stitch on here, kind of a contemporary look. But now with the 10, that's a better size. I can highlight these sections. Maybe just do a little bit in the middle as well. So these are going to be filled in with the satin stitch. I'm also going to add, maybe if I zoom out a little bit on here, 400, let's maybe go for 200. I'm going to add some bits to the petals as well. Again, using this tool, but I'm going to drop that down to about 6 on the paint tool. I'm just going to do some nice kind of flowing lines. I'm actually going to stitch this out as well. I think this kind of minimal embellishment on this kind of material will be really effective for all sorts of applications. Okay, so if I drop my background away, we can see what kind of embroidery that we're going to be left with. And if I then, we can bring that forward, doesn't matter now, because if I go to next, what it's going to do is we're going to then look at each individual section and check that the properties are what we want. We can change the direction of the satin stitch sewing, the density of it, the kind of stop gaps, the if we want under sewing as well, which we don't, for larger regions you will want under sewing, but we don't need that for this kind of task. And actually the auto settings on here really are very good, so we probably don't have to change anything, but the facility's there if you do want to. You can actually flick through all of the different sections that we have drawn, or you can link them all together and change them all the properties at the same time. But I'm going to go with set. So now it's converted that, and we're going to be going into the embroidery screen here. Lovely. Okay, so we've got, obviously we chose a red back in the my design center. I'm going to actually change the colors to these actually now. So I think for the center we're going to go with let's have a look. So if I select that, so you can see we've got the two bits here that we've separated out using, because you kind of work with layers, so it's got the different the ones that we were using the pencil, and then the ones where we were using the actual paint tool that separated those out. But we can change those colours. So I'm going to make that one in the blue. So this colour is actually 3631. So if I go to the number, we've actually got our isochord thread chart selected. If I go to the number there, 3631. There we go. And then I'm going to change this one to 0124. Lovely. So then when we go through to the embroidery screen, we're going to be able to actually project this down onto our design to see. This is the magic bit. There we go. Okay, so we can actually change the background on here to find out which one's going to give us the best projection. So we've got the choice of the black background, the grey background, or the white. And the white is actually giving me quite a good projection on there. It would be even better if you were working in somewhere that was slightly less lit. But I can see that that's, yeah, exactly where I want it to be. But what you can do, if you did because what I did in my test earlier on was actually I needed to change the size of my embroidery hoop, so I'd already done all of this, and then the hoop wasn't actually large enough to do the actual embroidery. It scanned in parts of the flower, but it wasn't enough to work on with what I'd done in the embroidery side. But all I had to do was rehoop into this and then reposition it. It was so easy because you can just obviously select a section that you want to see. So I went for the centre, just to get close up so you can see a bit better on there of what kind of how the projection is projecting onto the material. I'm not sure how well that does come across on a video, but then we can move it like up and down in real time, so we can see now that's shifted everything up. And so this is the beauty of this luminaire, this projection, is that we can see exactly where it's going to land. If I just centralise that, oh no, that's not what we wanted. Let's see if we can undo. No, okay, we'll go back to the projector, and then we're going to test my skills of getting it back to where it should be. Getting there. I'm just going to move that section to the middle. You can be so precise with this, it's great, and confident that it's going to land where you want it. Yeah, I'm happy with that now. So I've got my embellished sections all covered up with the projection. I can see that's where it's going to be in the blue thread. So yeah, we're ready to go. So I'm going to OK that and thread it up with our first colour, because it is doing the blue first. Ready to go. Obviously it's sorted out all of the thread cutting for us as well. We haven't even had to think about it. Somebody who doesn't do a lot of embroidery, I found it really intuitive to actually get used to doing, and you can hear it, it's so nice and quiet as well, which makes a big difference. So now we're just going to do a quick thread change. Put this one through. And we can just keep this one on the next spool. And now just the details for the centre. Right, so that's all finished embroidering now. Just press OK on there, and we'll may as well get out the hoop and have a look. Really nice stitch quality on here as well. Lots of lovely little thread cuts at the back. It ready to be all stabiliser torn away and used in whatever fashion that you would like. I just think it's magic. It really is, even for somebody who's not into it as myself, to be able to create something that looks, you know, pretty professional, really unique as well. It's all about making something your own with this My Design Centre and all the new features that are on the Luminaire, and just making the most of them and making it as easy as possible. Remember, you can also save this design now that you have got into your memory. You can then use it again for various other things. You know, you want to repeat patterns throughout, there's a theme going throughout a room or a quilt. You know, it's there. You can then manipulate it however you like. Reopen it in the My Design Centre, alter it in any way, change this, play around with the scale. Very powerful tool that I think, as I said before, dressmakers and quilters and anybody in between, I think could use, be really useful. So yeah, if you want to come and see this in action, don't forget you can come and have the demonstration in store. We're all ready and waiting really to show off this fantastic new machine. No, it's been out for a few weeks now, but it's still, we're learning every day. So come and see it in action, and hopefully see you back soon. And if you've got any questions, don't forget to ask us at the bottom of this video, and we'll do our best to answer them as much as we can. And if there is something specific that you want to see that we haven't covered on that My Design Centre bit, let us know, because there's so much to it. You can really, there's a lot going on in there, so we want to show off all of the capabilities now, especially with that new camera. So yeah, good to see you, and we'll shall see you again sometime soon. Thanks very much for watching, and bye for now.